So tip number 6 is about the menu. So many times we have seen like very complicated menus when the menu is given, it's like a newspaper. You look for appetizers, you look for mains, you look for like there's different rice section, there's different chicken section, and like under rice section there's fried rice, under chicken section there's chicken fried rice. So on, like it's really complicated, and usually what people does is they ask the, if there's order taker, they ask the order taker like "Wali banana do, like what do you recommend?" Then like the waiter will try to like push whatever, like a slow moving item or something like that. So it's not a like a excellent experience if the menu is very complicated. So I think you need to cover as a restaurant owner. I think there are tendencies to have like an extensive menu. I don't think extensive menu is the way to go. You need a like a good enough menu so that like you don't turn off certain patrons with diet, like specific dietary needs or specific cuisine requirements or whatever. Like again, it depends on what kind of concept you have. Based on that concept, you will have your cuisine defined and its environment and atmosphere and all that. But you need to have a uncomplicated, simplified menu. So if you're a let's say a comfort food kind of restaurant, it has to be like very very simple. You can have varieties. So the tip is straightforward. The tip is, why do you have to print a newspaper? Why not make it online? Why not make it digital? A digital menu is a great menu because why? Because you can customize it. Printed menu, like so the waiter will have to go and say like these items are not available. In a digital menu, all you have to do is like you go to the back end and like do you deactivate what you don't have. So yeah, it's a straightforward thing, but it's an important item, menu. If it's too complicated, it's going to like it creates friction in that guest touch point. So what we touched earlier. So you need to really look at how do I make it like a smooth, frictionless experience for the customer. It might not be a memorable one. It might be a memorable one if it's like if the food is presented as like holograms and like they can see the right proportion and all that. It's different, very like a niche kind of market. So I'm not going to talk about that. But this is a low hanging fruit. You can make it, even if you want to print something uncomplicated, or like have a variety, or like so what it does is it will definitely help you in your financial side also, because it will result in less wastage. If you have an extensive menu, you need to carry mise en place, and like you need to carry supplies for all that. So it makes sense to go for a cleaned up, simplified, like but a great menu. A great menu is like you have great food with great quality and like cooked to perfection. Right. Let me stop sharing.
I'll share the screen.
Yes, yes. Yeah. So tip number 7 is on pricing. Uh, Pricing is sometimes we are not. I mean, a lot of the restaurants are not doing pricing in a scientific manner. So, sorry, I have listed down some factors you need to look at in terms of pricing. One of the key things is food cost. Let's say you're like a burger joint, you sell like fantastic burgers, and if you don't know the cost of a burger, like I mean, it's a very long road ahead for you. I'll tell you that. So you need to know, like okay, what's the cost of a burger? You know the burger bun. You need to know the cost of the burger patty, lettuce, whatever that goes in it, cheese and like mayo and all that. What is the cost of the electricity that goes in? So you have a like a all around thing to say like, okay, this is the cost of a burger. Then portion size. If you give like a jumbo burger versus like a regular burger, obviously you need to know, okay, one will be like priced differently to the other. Quality of ingredients. So, like let's say if it's a beef burger and like you bring down Australian beef, it's going to be more pricey because obviously the quality of the ingredient is better, and people will not have a problem paying for that as long as you make them understand that this is the ingredient that goes in, and competitive pricing. If you have another burger joint, like you can do that competitive analysis. Like it has to be like on equal grounds. If you are a really this differentiated, awesome product, and there's a street burger joint, like like a burger cart or whatever, like you shouldn't be doing that comparison. However, it might be your competition because, like for a potential customer, those are like two burger options. So it's important that so in terms of marketing and that side of things, how do you differentiate and how do you position yourself as like this awesome burger joint, like what exactly you're going to get by coming to your burger joint, rather than like walking across the street to the street like a burger cart. Right. So in terms of pricing, it's an easy tip for me. The tip is control the cost. Pricing is about like for a restaurant business about cost control. So I think I mentioned like very earlier in the discussion also the importance of a cost controller. As a business owner, as a restaurant owner, you have to be the cost controller. If you don't play that role, like you would wonder like what happened to the money we make. So be scientific in pricing. It's not, I mean, it's definitely not rocket science. It's very easy to do because unless you have like a very special product, it's the pricing range sorry about that, I'm under the weather a little bit. Yeah, so if you build that differentiation, you will be able to charge a premium as well. I've seen that, but the downside of it is like a lot of the time when people complain about like you got ripped off by this restaurant, that's a sign of a bad restaurant. That means that they have not built the differentiation. They have gone for higher pricing, but like it's the value was not delivered. So how do you measure that? Is that you need to pay very keen attention to customer reviews. Customers talk about it. Only like disgruntled customers talk about it. Only like the studies say like less than 10% of your customers actually leave a review. That means those reviews are extremely biased, guys. I think that's an important thing for you to note, because we try to treat all reviews as same. No, like a very small portion of your total market comments, but their comments are read by like majority of your population. Because of that, it's an important aspect of the game. Right, so we'll come to reviews separately. Let's go to the next one. Yeah, marketing plan. So you have a great concept. You build an awesome restaurant. Your staff is excellent, and your food is like out of this world. If you can't market it properly, again, you're going to have slow growth. That's what you're going to have. But if you can market it very well, you're going to have like extremely good growth. So this relates to growth. Even without a marketing plan, guys, you can do very well. It's just that like the rate of success will be a little bit slower than with a good marketing plan. What exactly that is? So how do you want to be seen? How do you want to position? What do you want people to talk about your brand and your products? I think all those are like elements of that. Again, if you're not so good at marketing planning, identify action points, agreeing on KPIs, measuring KPIs, get it outsourced. There'll be companies who wants to do that, who can do it, who has done it for so many people. So you have to do like a very quick research to understand whether you're going to the right place to get it done. Once that's done, like if you have the expertise, like by all means do that. If you don't have the expertise, please get help, because it's going to benefit you. But marketing is all about like it's like a magnifier. It will show what you have. It will magnify what you have. So if you have good stuff, it will magnify your good stuff. If you have bad stuff, it'll definitely magnify the bad stuff as well. So it's important to have a like a really good marketing plan, well defined marketing plan, and with monitoring and KPI driven that approach. We call, I mean, in our business we call it growth hacking. So that's what you need. Next tip. Yeah, next tip is cost control. Like I said, most restaurants start off with like a great concept and like food is good, everything's great, but they're losing money. They're not profitable. Why? Because they have not looked at the cost. They have not looked at wastage. The biggest cost of a restaurant is food cost. The biggest cost of or biggest portion of food cost is sometimes wastage. This I've seen. I've done studies on like 5-star restaurants when they are not profitable. The key thing is that like you have a way too complicated menu, so you have to carry all the supplies and like some items don't move. In restaurants, you talk about like most of the items are perishables, so you can't keep stuff forever. If you're a nicely run, like very well run restaurant, you will not obviously like you're governed by certain principles and standards. So when like food is cooked again, like I mean, if perishable, like certain perishables can like last for 3 days, once you cook them, like it's like same day or you have to dump them. So it's very important for cost controlling and analytics. How do you anticipate like next day, tomorrow's traffic? If you can't do that, then like you're like game is going to be very tough. At least to like 70-75% accuracy, you need to like guesstimate that. So how do you do that? Again, you look at the data numbers, what's going on, what kind of day tomorrow. Is it weekday, weekend? Is it like a poor day, after a poor day? Is it closer to the salary, like after the salary, not close to salary? So like and obviously depending on your customer segments, let's say your target audience is like family or a family restaurant, like right after salary you will probably get like more sales. But like the week right before the salary, you will that's like kind of like the dry a week for you. So you need to like see whether your supplies and stocks have been like maintained at the right levels. So the cost controlling and like supply efficiencies are like a really good area. If you guys are not experts in that area, again my suggestion is get help. But it's never too late to like there are so many free courses available in all these areas, whether it's like Coursera or like whether it's like LinkedIn Learning or whatever. So when you have time, like just look at it. So it will make the difference between like you being profitable in like 3 months versus you being profitable in like 1 year. So uh, do not overlook this. And like like I suggested, as business owners, you should be the cost controller. Unless you have like multiple restaurant, multiple businesses, you can't do that. But hire a talent that's a really good talent, and like empower that person, but to look into the efficiencies and cost controlling. Right, and we go to the last tip. Yeah, cleanliness. I think we have already covered the importance of cleanliness. Like I said, anyone comes to a restaurant, like it's food related, right? Anyone finding like a strand of hair in their plate, that's going to be a major complaint. Anyone's going to find an insect in the plate, that's going to be a major complaint. It's a health and safety hazard as well. So like I said, I started off the discussion showing you guys like what a badly run restaurant would look like. Number one is it's not clean. So if your restaurant is not clean, that means it's deep rooted. You need to go back to the basics. You need to have your right checklists and train the people in the right way. Penalize the people if they try to go back. So there's a change management element also. But if you're like new, or like your restaurant is already well run, establish those processes. Cleanliness is a key hygiene factor, because if your restaurant is clean and spotless, nobody's going to talk about it saying like I'm going to go back to that place because it's like clean. But if it's not clean, they're not going to come back. So I think most of the five-star restaurants, what they do is they get these health checks done uh, for the staff, and there's like it's an annual thing. So it's going to cost you like a lot of money. Maybe it'll cost a little bit of money because there are like some tests that they need to do because they're food servers. Again, if you're thinking about like having ISO 22000 or like HACCP and like certifications like that, you need to have these recorded. So it's an area, it's a very important area. I can't stress enough, for any restaurant, any hotel. If you're not clean, you're not going to be in business for very long. If you're clean, like great, you have a good base, very good base, and then you can, your great food, your great service, your great location, ambience, all that will come in and you will be unstoppable. But getting cleanliness right is not easy. So these are the tips and tricks I wanted to share, the 10 tips on how to run a successful restaurant business. I can answer some questions as well if